just talking.
I'm just being uncool.
I don't believe in guilty pleasure.
A choice right now. Between fear and love.
Welcome back to Empower the Audience. I'm here with Chris, and we're here to talk about the stuff we've been watching. Let's start with Cinderella. We watched the new Cinderella. Chris, you saw it in the theaters originally, didn't you?
I did, yep.
Okay. And I only saw it when it came out on Blu-ray. I wasn't with him when he saw it in the theaters. Tell me what you thought about that, Chris.
I liked it a lot. I enjoyed the costumes, and the sets were amazing. And I really liked the actors that they chose for this. Everyone from Lily James as Cinderella. I thought it was really good that they got kind of an unfamiliar person in a very familiar role. Because there's a lot of big name people that they were kind of considering at the time, and I thought that was a good choice.
Yeah, she's from Downton Abbey. That's where she's known from.
Yeah, and Kate Blanchett was perfect.
Oh, she was great, yeah.
Definitely channeling a Joan Crawford kind of thing going on there. And then,
Mommy Dearest.
Yeah.
Stepmommy Dearest.
But yeah, I liked a lot of it. I thought it was very good. I thought they did a good job bringing it to live action.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because Lainey, my wife is from Zany Lainey, had seen it with Chris in the theater, and she was raving about it. But I didn't know until we just got the Blu-ray that Kenneth Branagh actually directed it. If you know Kenneth Branagh, he directed Thor, directed a lot of Shakespearean things, and so that was encouraging for me. I really like his stuff. I'm a really big fan of him as a director. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it was great. I thought the like he said, the production design and stuff. Every shot that Kate Blanchett was in was so gorgeous. Like not just her costumes and everything, but the background. It was like she was kind of like the perfect villain in it, and they gave her like not just the costumes to work with, but every scene with her, and it was really well framed and well done. And yeah, like you said, the costume, especially that blue dress when she's like doing the dancing, it was like it was really kind of interesting, like how that was made and constructed, because it was kind of interesting. But the only thing I had against it was I thought that the prince was a little bit miscast. To me, he seemed like he'd be a better villain than to be just Prince Charming. Kind of similar to what we said about Terminator, if you want to go back and listen to our thing about that, but the John Connor casting in that. But other than that, I really liked it. I liked how they did the animals. They kept that part of it. They kept parts of the Disney aspect where there was the little mice, like, and she even called one of them Gus Gus. And there was little hints here and there where they would sing songs, like she sang a little bit. Cinderella started singing a little bit of some of the songs from Cinderella.
Yeah, it's just kind of like humming the Sweet Sweet Nightingale from the cartoon.
Yeah, and I also didn't even know. I watched the special features when I watched it, and that Cinderella wasn't the only person from Downton Abbey in it. One of the stepsisters was from Downton Abbey as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Did you recognize who her mom was?
Yes, Agent Carter. Peggy Carter plays her mother. No big spoiler. It's just part of the intro to it where they show her mother and father. But yeah, I did enjoy it. It was very, very well done. Helena Bonham Carter was fun because she's been so villainous for so long. It was interesting to see her as the fairy godmother, because I mean, you go from being, in her character in Harry Potter to the fairy godmother, but she pulled it off. I thought she did really good. It was a lot of fun. So yeah. So the next thing we saw recently was I went to another one of those Fathom events. If you remember when we talked about Sound of Music We went to one of the Fathom events where the Turner Classic Movies sponsors a showing of an older movie, and that was Sound of Music that time. And this time I went to see Psycho. It was, I've never seen it on the big screen, so it was a lot of fun seeing it. I really enjoyed it. They had Ben Mankiewicz talking before and after about the movie, and a little bit of trivia for him. If you didn't know, his dad, if you watch Turner Classic Movies, his dad, he's the younger guy that introduced the stuff. His dad wrote Citizen Kane, wrote the script for Citizen Kane, so he's actually kind of part of movie history and gets to talk about the movies and stuff. So, the thing I noticed about Psycho this time is how great Anthony Perkins was in his performance. Not just in the scary moments, not just in the creepy, just in all of it. He was so strong, and I don't always think about that when I think about Psycho with the performances. But man, he was so good all the way throughout. I got to see the Fathom event. Chris didn't, but that night he watched the Blu-ray copy of it. And is there anything new you picked up off watching it this time?
Not necessarily. I've seen it so much. I love that movie. Anything Hitchcock, but I don't know. It's fun. I got to see it with someone who was seeing it for the first time, and anytime you see movies like that with someone that's seen it for the first time, it's always really exciting, and kind of getting to point out little things to them and seeing their reaction to stuff, especially a movie like this where there's kind of a twist involved in the story a couple of times, especially Janet Leigh's character.
Right.
You know, everyone knows what happens to her in the shower, but you know, all of a sudden, kind of near the beginning of the movie, that happens, and he was like, "Wait, she's already dead?" And seeing his reaction to that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, it's an interesting. Her part of the movie is interesting because I think most people, if they don't know anything about Psycho and just assume that it's this poor innocent girl that goes to you know, a hotel and gets killed by this psycho killer, but that's not the case. And it's interesting because what I was thinking about when she's actually not on the run, but she's actually committed a crime and it is on the lam, I guess you'd call it. She's trying to get away. Nobody's chasing her. Nobody knows that she's done it actually at the point when she escapes, but she is trying to start a new life with what she committed the crime with. And I was actually thinking about the rules in Scream a little bit when they talk about how it's only the people that sin, quote unquote, that actually get punished in horror movies. So it's kind of funny. And for those of you that don't know anything about Psycho, whatever, Janet Leigh is the mother of Jamie Lee Curtis, who is also famous in Halloween. So it's kind of cool that there's the two generations of Scream queens in that family. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. One little funny Easter egg to see if you know that this actor is when at the very end of the movie in the police station, you're going to see a guy basically guarding a door, and the police officer is played by Ted Knight, if you know him from either the Mary Tyler Moore Show or Caddyshack. He was the kind of the guy, the member of the golf club that was getting frustrated by Rodney Dangerfield's character. So it was just kind of funny to see him. He didn't even have a speaking role on that, but it's hard not to see him as who he became when you see him in that little scene. So I thought that was a lot of fun. So there's a new show out. It's on IFC. Chris has watched one episode with me. It's called Documentary Now, and it's a new show starring and behind the scenes some SNL alums. You have Bill Hader and Fred Armisen, and Seth Meyers actually, I think, produces and writes for it as well. It's called Documentary Now, and basically, what the setup is, it's a show like on PBS type network that's been doing documentaries, and they're calling it the 50th season of Documentary Now. And they do a really good job of making it look realistic. The whole intro of it is great because even just the sound, the music intro of it shows a lot of actual documentaries. So if you don't know any documentaries, you might not know that those are real ones. There's one about Bob Dylan. There's Roger and Me, which is about the car plants closing down in Michigan. And so they use actually to kind of make it look legit. And then the hostess comes out, and it's Helen Mirren introducing. And she does it every time. They got her to do the introduction every time for their thing. So the interesting thing about the show is it's not one thing at all. Every episode is completely different, and they did a really good job of making it. I've seen more episodes than Chris has. Chris has just seen the first episode, and we can't really get into, like, we don't want to, like, talk about any of these because they're so good to watch. They cram a whole documentary in. I think it's just 30 minutes each of them, but they're a lot of fun. The first one's kind of like it's a spoof of Grey Gardens, if you know what that is, about those old ladies living together, their mother-daughter living together in a house. I just watched one recently where Iceland apparently has a festival about Al Capone every year for some random reason, which is what I just literally just finished watching today. So it's just like fun and random weird stuff. If you like the Christopher Guest movies, some of these would be good. But again, everyone is different. So it's filmed differently, it's done differently. It feels like it's done by different people every time. So they do a really good job. There was one where it was kind of like a spoof of, like, I think Nanook of the North, where they were doing like a documentary in the North Pole, or I think North or South Pole, I can't remember. And it was funny that they had an Inuit guy that ultimately became like a diva, and he ran the documentary himself and was complaining about how things weren't artistically correct and stuff. So it was a lot of fun, stuff about that. So definitely check it out. I know it's on demand if you haven't caught it, and I'm sure it'll end up on Netflix too. But that's a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there anything else we saw recently? You've been still going through Full Metal, and you've been enjoying it?
Yeah, I've been enjoying that a lot. The story's getting a lot more intense, and a lot more stuff going on deeper into the story. So
well, this is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I've been told by my other roommates who have been on the show, Marshall and Vince, that the Brotherhood is the one to watch. I had, unfortunately, had only seen the previous incarnation, which is Full Metal Alchemist, but I'll have to go back sometime and watch Brotherhood because I've heard it's like way better story. So, well, I think that's about it for this week. That's pretty much all we have seen. Oh, know what? I'm wrong. There's one more thing. I saw this movie. Believe it or not, I think I've talked to you guys about the Movie Pass. I know Chris has it and I have it. Just got it. I was going to wait for Psycho, and I decided, you know what? I'll just go see another movie since I have my Movie Pass. And I went to see No Escape, this new movie with Owen Wilson. Basically, what happened, the premise of this, there's not spoilers, but basically Owen Wilson works for a company that is moving into this small Asian country, and he not knowingly, at the time that there's a big political craziness, going on at the time when he lands. So the whole movie is about he and his family, his wife and his two young daughters, trying to escape the country, to escape all the anarchy basically that's going on around them. Really intense. You might have seen the trailer for it. This is the movie where he has to toss his daughter from one building to another for his wife to catch. Really intense movie, really good movie all the way throughout. It's Owen Wilson, Lake Bell plays the mother, and Pierce Brosnan is also in it as well. It's a really good one, really good intense movie. Just one of those kind of things where it's pure, like, suspense, and just it's not really action necessarily, but it's intense all the way throughout. So I definitely highly recommended that one. It's good stuff. Alrighty. Well, thanks for joining us this week, and we will be talking to you later, coming at you later. Bye.
Bye.